Good evening, this is RFC Monkey bringing you another flight report for Birds of Steel, played on the Xbox 360. These games are played in simulation mode on the live games, with hopes that there will be other players joining. In this particular game, I had one other player join me. His name was WereWulf, and so I'm against him. I'm flying the Spitfire MkII. I've been flying the Mark I lately, but the Mark II is a nice plane because it's actually got cannons. It's a little bit slower and heavier. Just above my target reticle to the left there, you can see a small dot approaching me. I checked my map and spotted this plane coming in, and was pretty sure that this was the WereWulf in what's going to turn out to be an BF-109. He hasn't spotted me yet, so I'm slowly tracking him, rising him. This plane is not nearly as agile as the Spitfire Mark I. But he has cut into the center of the field, yet they are not noticed me, and I'm tracking him visually to see if I can't follow him. Pulling up below and beneath him, he's banked back left. The Spitfires don't roll that well, so that's a very nice defensive mechanism, but I don't think he'd spotted me here. And he dove down fairly low. I followed, trying to stay a little bit higher than him, and tried to anticipate his rolls a little bit, because every time he rolls back and forth, I found myself in a bad spot. He climbed, and I thought I could actually hit him, but he went for a full loop, and I stalled out. So at this point, I've lost track of where he was. Looking around to find him is going to be the next task. I know he's somewhere nearby. So dropping my nose, gaining a little bit more energy, spinning around and see if I can't see where in the world he went. Often my strategy here is to spin around in circles, check those two planes up there, very quickly realized neither one of those was a BF-109. So now I've got to look around behind me and to the side to see if I can't spot where he might be. I try not to cheat too much and use the map, but every once in a while I do. This case I didn't have to, because there I saw a plane go down and I got the message that WereWulf had been the one that brought him down, so I knew he was over that direction, and right away I spot a plane flying low. So I've come after it here. Again, he's flying away from me with a little bit of luck, so I'm able to drop onto his tail and attempt to stay on him. I'm firing a little bit early there, so all of my shots are going behind him because we're sort of traveling in a circle. I need to lead him more, but the more I lead, the more energy I bleed. He's done a rollover and moved back to the left, so I waited a second, hesitated to make sure that that's what he was going to do. Roll back, you can see I'm dropping low and he's dropping low, so we're really doing a lot of tree hugging. His defense mechanism in this game is to drop very close to the trees and do a lot of turns to evade me. So I'm sticking with him. Here I can't quite get a lead on his turn. Big tree in my way, so I come up, have to bank to the right a little bit. And here I've lost track of where he was for a second. I hesitate, look around, so I begin to start to climb when I can't see where he is. Make it easier to spot him. I've looked back to the right for whatever reason I thought he might be there. And then a check to the left. And somehow I actually managed to spot something. I don't see it here, but at the time I was flying, I was able to spot something and have gone after him, anticipating where he's traveling, flying ahead a little bit, but we're both hugging the ground. He heads through and very close to the factory and begins to climb. Usually when BF-109s climb, they lose a lot of energy and it allows Spitfires to catch up to them. Spitfires climb much faster than do 109s, so that's usually a pretty bad move. He begins to drop, so I fire far away and go ahead and hit his fuselage and down him. Now, those of you who followed any of my other videos know that I set my convergence at about 150 meters, which means that his plane should almost touch, the wings of his plane should almost touch the round circle part of my target reticle to know that he is within firing range, especially for the converged machine guns. But the Spitfire Mark II has a cannon on it, and cannons fire out of the nose and fire straight, and so this guy has I was able to use my straight firing cannons to hit him at a much farther distance, probably something like 500 to 600 meters, much farther than I would ordinarily. So now I'm on the prowl for any other AI, but having won the first of our low altitude duels. 2 planes are climbing. I move up and anticipate where they're going to be, following along with this plane. And then one of my AI companions moves in up above me, goes after him, and I decide since it's not a human player, I'd best ignore that and go back to looking for where WereWulf might be. So I've climbed a little bit at this point, and as you can see behind me circling, there is a plane that has taken off. There's another one down below me to my left, and I'm scanning to my right to see what I can find, 1 or 2 planes out that direction as well. So now I'm on the hunt for a WereWulf again, or an easy AI kill that won't interfere with any of my AI teammates. Earlier in this evening I had crashed twice into AI teammates and were brought down by them, so I was trying to avoid that as the process. There again behind me there's a gladiator chasing after a G50, so I'll let them go. Begin climbing, begin steering, looking at the ground, making sure my 6 is clear. There are 2 planes flying low over the city, and I drop my nose down on one of them. There's a gladiator pulling in front of my nose, another gladiator rising up, and I don't really see any kind of target, so at that point I do a quick check at the map, look back, there's a G50 back there, looks like he's pulling a hammerhead maneuver, or hovering in space almost. And there, just moving off to the left or the right, is another G50. And behind me then, I see the telltale silhouette of a BF-109 dropping down on me, so I pull a rollover maneuver, and now that caused me to lose track of where he is. Usually I'm pretty good at looking, and more fire from behind me, so I sharpen my turn to break his firing solution, and you can see there's the 109 on my tail. WereWulf had spotted me, and I pull a really sharp turn and really risk losing energy here. So we're dropping down low, but my turn is way sharper than his, and he goes straight, so I'm actually able to straighten out a little bit and not lose all of my energy. I've got a lead turn on him, so I try shooting. That doesn't work. So to bank my turn, I pull higher and drop my nose to make it sharper. He begins to rise right into my gun sights, and I use my cannons to shear his wings off. So, second duel at low altitude, I managed to win both of those 2 kills on WereWulf. Now I'm stuck low altitude again, so a little bit of flying straight, trying to gain some more speed, and then trying to raise my nose for a little higher altitude, and see that there is now a G50 on my tail. So I try a pretty weak scissors maneuver, trying to look back if I can spot him, and he caught up to me and collided with me. Doesn't look like he broke any wings off, but totally lost entire control of my plane. Was rewarded with a crash and a kill, actually, and I had bailed out, so now the plane just sort of does a swan dive and crashes. Back in the Spitfire MkII, like I was saying before, it's a heavier version of a Spitfire. It doesn't move as nicely as a Spitfire Mk I does, but it does have cannons that allow you to shoot a little bit straighter. I think I said before they were in the nose, but you could spot them there in the wings. The cannon shoots straighter and gives it a bit more shredding ability until those cannons run out. So taking off. Usually in a 109 I'll circle the airfield, but the Spitfire seemed to be able to make it to the center of the field fairly well, and I know that I'm looking out for WereWulf, who is probably going to be flying low, or at least doing a lot of diving and climbing. External views of that plane. So climbing a little bit, you can see the bottom edge of the altimeter there, the bottom of the screen. Check the map quickly. Pull my flaps up. The flap indicator is the little white bar there on the left side of the cockpit. And now I'm just scanning to see if I can't find werewolf anywhere. I'm looking close to see what if I can sort of understand what was going on there. After having looked at it in the map, there's 2 planes involved in a dogfight, but I don't really know which one is which. I have an idea that one of them might be werewolf, but I can't quite tell. A plane passed underneath me, so I tried reversing and looking backwards to see if I can spot where it went, and assumed that it was that second plane there, that small dot. 2 planes off to my left, and for whatever reason I wound up chasing them. Realized that I'm going to lose my velocity, so I let them go. After some attempted shots here. And sure enough, that is the 109, so there's werewolf again. He dove down beneath and went back to my right, so you can see there he pulls up around the city. I've banked into him, and we both pass in it head-on, so now I've got to reverse. What we're doing now is sort of a figure-8 maneuver where we both wind up passing head-on to each other, and again we pass head-on, and he's got the advantage here because his plane's got a bit more energy than mine does. You can see I'm starting to shake and wobble from trying to keep up this turn. I'm losing too much energy, actually just barely catching up to him, so I thought I could anticipate, do a quick fire, sharpen my turn, and stall out and lose the plane. So that third conflict there I'm going to award to WereWulf. He didn't get the credit for the kill, but certainly his maneuver caused me to circle backwards and lose control of my plane. I played that dumb, crashed into the ground. I should have just gone ahead and gone straight a little bit, maybe perhaps climbed and then reversed rather than trying to stick in this tight circle to beat him. So that is 2 crashes, once from an AI crashing into me, and another from pure stupidity. Now I'm taking off again, going back out to look for a werewolf one last time. Got my flaps set to take off. And I try to use the entire length of the runway to give myself some energy. Pulled the flaps up mistakenly, lowered them back down again. Banking in a little bit of a chandelle there. Got my gear up. And am now on the prowl again for werewolf. Plane went down, and I can't recall whether the on-screen message told me werewolf had gotten a kill, but I was fairly confident that that dot there might have been him, so I was trying to track it, pulling a lead turn to get ahead of him. He reverses back after that AI up there. He's climbing up there now. There's 3 different planes there, which is going to get confusing. But I'm pretty sure I had an idea which one he was. Now there's 5 planes there. He goes diving back down, and that's kind of a pattern of his, so I went after that plane, and it's just over the trees, moving right to left. So I'm attempting now to see if I can keep my eyes on it and track it, and to catch up, gain some ground towards it. Checking the map to make sure, so I can see where the enemy dots are, and then going back in order to looking for that plane again. They're climbing up above the cloud level. I see a dot, and I'm trying to give it a little bit of a lead to catch up to him. Rolling now with his turn, and that plane cut back into me, fired, and went past me, so I reverse. And there, I go ahead and anticipate the roll a little bit, try to hit that plane. Here you can again see my plane is shaking, I'm losing my energy, and because I had screwed up before, I wasn't going to quite let that happen. Fortunately, my target is going back and forth, which has given me a little bit of a space to go straight. Rather than cut sharply on that plane, I climb a little bit and cut my reverse. He reverses back into me, fortunately. I climb with him. This is again werewolf. Now I can't turn that sharply here. I'm really low on energy, so I'm trying not to lose control of my plane. He climbs. I'm trying to turn with him. Fire, and he passes back behind me, again forcing me to have to turn. I climb a little bit, drop my nose down, but you can see the plane is really shaky, and I don't really have any turning velocity here. But fortunately, WereWulf's back and forth zigzag pattern helps to keep me on his tail. He's flying really low, just above the trees. And the game ended. Cheers. See you guys next time.